The campaign you're most proud of?
I've always been pretty like background of campaigns, but when I was at when I was at Burst Media, doing those gaming sites, we did a bunch of takeovers for Activision. So this was a cutting edge of innovation in advertising, digital advertising at the time. So synced banners and page skins across like a huge network of gaming sites that all had to launch at the same time. I loved the thrill of that. I loved video games. I still love video games, but I don't play as much. But I love being part of that. And it was also cool to get a few voucher codes for like a new Modern Warfare that was coming out. So I liked working on those because I cared about the product, and I think they were investing in innovative opportunities on the web.
Your favorite movie?
If I have to pick one, I could probably watch The Fifth Element over and over and over again. Just, ahead of its time, but also kind of timeless. But I also like suspense or thriller type movies.
If Hollywood were to make a movie based on your life story, who would you want to play you?
I'd like to be portrayed by John Krasinski. So, he goes from Jim Halpert to Jack Ryan. He's kind of unassuming, and I just like the cut of his jib, and he's got great range.
My follow-up, if Hollywood were to make that movie based on your life story, what would you call it?
I would call it Challenge Accepted.
Your favorite book?
My favorite book, I read a bunch, but one that's kind of stood with me, and I've read a few of his others, Bill Bryson's A Brief History of Nearly Everything.
Your favorite song?
I'll go with my wedding song with my wife, Lovely Day by Bill Withers. So two bills there for you.
The best advice you have ever received?
You're more likely to regret the things you don't do than the things you do. And that was something that came up with my dad around the time that I had the opportunity to move to London. I didn't have a lot of time to decide, and I did a lot of pacing, a lot of overthinking probably, and that's something he said to me, and it ultimately led to a big yes for that. And maybe one other thing that kind of more recent, you've seen I do move around a lot. I do go on to new things. And I think a good piece of advice that's helped me do that in a constructive way is that being ambitious about your future doesn't need to come at the expense of appreciating your present.
If you could go back in time and give your younger self advice, what would you say?
I don't think he'd listen. I know him pretty well. He wasn't a great listener at the time, but invest early, invest often in your physical and mental health. It's easy to put your job or the office ahead of physical activity or things are good for the soul. So invest early in that because it compounds.
My signature closing question, if you weren't in media, what would you be doing and why?
I would be an outdoor adventure guide because I love being outside. I love adapting to challenges, and I like being part of creating memorable experiences with others.